I'm going to share today 5 tips with you that will help you to create better samples. These are techniques that the big sample makers like Nami, Coop always use. I'm going to demonstrate those techniques on one of my latest samples. Start with a rhythm loop. This can be a drum loop or just a percussion loop. You can get those easily from Splice or any sound pack. The reason why this helps you is because after you have a chord progression, it's hard to imagine a good beat or rhythm to it. So having a drum loop playing in the background makes this definitely a lot easier. And when you're finished, you can decide if you want to keep those drums or take it away. Either way, you end up with a bouncy sample. Using silence. One thing that a lot of beginners do when they start making samples is that they think they need to make the sample completely overloaded. They have a bunch of instruments all playing at the same time. But the reality is, if you listen to those samples from those big producers, they often have some pauses and silence in between. This helps to create some more contrast, rhythm, and just some more appreciation for the instruments while they are playing. Keep it simple. With samples, it's similar to beats or just to music in general. To keep it simple is not that easy. This requires experience and also to know how many instruments are really needed. Also here, listen to some of your favorite music or samples, and you will see that most of them are super simple. Sometimes they just have like 3 to 4 instruments, or sometimes just even one. I know the feeling when you have a great chord progression or melody, and you feel like you need to add some more stuff to finish it. But to be honest, if you feel like the melody is good enough by its own, just leave it like that. You can use effects, automations, texture sounds to make it sound more complete, so don't overcomplicate the process. You will just end up messing up your sample. While keeping it simple with the numbers of instruments and layers that you use, you should definitely spend more time on the arrangement of your sample. The arrangement of the sample is super important to keep your listener entertained, and of course also to create different parts like intro, hook, verse, or even a bridge. Of course, sometimes an 8-bar loop is enough, but if we're talking here about some finished samples in a sample pack, I would definitely suggest to spend more time on the arrangement. Automations can definitely help you to make a 4 to 8 bar loop more exciting, because it's really boring to hear the same chord progression or melody playing over and over again for 1 to 3 minutes. So adding some little automations here and there can really do a lot. For example, I love to use automations on my reverb because it adds so much more dynamics and space. Until we die. But you can experiment around and use different plugins, and you will see that you really can create some unique sounds with that. Now I'm going to play the full sample, and I really want you to pay some attention. Can you hear all the techniques that I just shared with you? If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe, and also feel free to follow me on my socials for daily producer content.